And there is a Stargate being thrown up back behind all this, whereas it looks like Clem is going to be adding on his factory.
Clem is going to stand out. Obviously, the downside for Clem's opening so far is that he has absolutely no idea what the tech of choice is for Maxpax. It could be Blink, it could be a Dark Shrine, Robo very unlikely, but what it could also be are a couple of Phoenixes that are going to get the easiest cleanup ever as soon as they make it home in time, and I think they will. One Phoenix reveals itself. I think it's an easy cleanup.
There's a lift up on both of them, and as soon as they pick off those Widow Mines, they're going to be hunting after that medevac, and this is the not so fun part for the Terran player where they try and play hide and seek with the Phoenix, but looks like the Phoenix are actually just going to go straight across the map, not bothering to go after the medevac at all.
Want to mention that Clem was building a Raven for quite some time. I always think that Raven is obviously kind of bad against Phoenix because it's almost impossible to keep them alive, and then I watch Beyond who keeps them alive. One Widow Mine will fire for the first time. It's not kill a Phoenix, but Clem disagrees with the Beyond logic, and he did cancel his Raven 70% in, realizing that he's not going up against DTs and keeping it alive against Phoenix is very difficult. It would actually be very nice for Maxpax to fight this army before the reinforcements of Clem show up, because that's when Clem's army becomes a lot bigger and better, and the Widow Mine count goes up too. Charge is about to finish up. Like, if I'm Maxpax, he spots the reinforcements, finds the medevacs with his Phoenix. This is really big, limps a couple of units, and now I think he can maybe just get the Zealots involved as well. But that was actually really nice, picking up that many units. I think Maxpax can just move this army of Clem with a Guardian Shield, lift a couple of mines. Ooh, sentries are not really covering the Zealots yet.
Yeah, one good Widowmine connection does soften up a lot of these Zealots and needs a lot of great micro to be able to take out all of these without losing too much. But inevitably, we end up seeing that these Marines are starting to get picked off one by one. Only one Phoenix left over here is going to go after a low health medevac.
Yeah, this wasn't that great by Maxpax. I really think that he made it a bit too complicated. The sentries were trailing behind. Guardian Shield wasn't helping out. Exposed the Phoenix a little bit too much. I think he could have engaged and handled that fight a little bit better, because now it actually turned into, in my opinion, a pretty big victory for Clem, because now all that Maxpax really has left are Zealots, and Zealots alone against someone who's as good as Clem, you know you're going to have a hard time getting great fights like that.
It's going to be really, really tough with how many Widow Mines there are still out and around on the map. The medevac looked like it was boosted on into that third base to go for a bit of a drop there. And on top of Zealots and Phoenix, is going to be pretty hard to get that damage done. We see Maxpax is on top of that. Still more units kind of being rallied over toward the bottom right-hand side of the map. It seems like Clem is not done with the aggression just yet.
This is very nice by Maxpax. He's going to try to buy some time, and time is what he needs, because he's got a second Robo finishing up, and he's got the Robo Bay. With just Zealots, he's eventually going to be in a lot of trouble. So we have a tiny drop. It's very important to not lose any Phoenixes here. Oh, I had the feeling that the Marines are kind of shooting all over the place. In the end, Maxpax does get a cleanup here without losing too many probes. 5 probes in total going down. Needs to start thermal lens. He was floating a bit of money too there. I think if he would have spent his money a bit better, everything would have been a bit easier for our Danish probes.
And we have the Widow Mine coming into this third base. Probe pull does happen in time, and there's also, I believe, a photon cannon going on up, so shouldn't take too many losses there.
Oh, he's going to send the probe.
Though.
Colossus goes down. Can we take a look at the Widow Mine? Ooh, that fired a bit too soon, because Maxpax actually didn't realize one of these mines had not fired yet. Economically, this game really is becoming very, very problematic for our pros from Sidestorm Gaming. It's nice to have Phoenix Colossus, but if Clem is going to get 2-2 upgrades and a 10+ worker advantage, I mean, that second starport, I guess, is just moments away from being built. And then Clem can just build 4 Vikings at a time. Needs to be careful fighting in range of battery overcharge, though, because Clem's army is not that much bigger.
Yeah, Phoenix going to be able to hunt down 1 or 2 of the medevacs and have plenty of Phoenix alongside those Zealots to clean up some of those Marines. A lot of charge lots involved in this army. Clem, very stimmed up as well, is bleeding out quite a few units. Phoenix are also going to be able to do some nice pickups on these Widow Mines, so not a single one of them get a shot off. And Clem is just getting chased all the way back home in the red.
Yep, his army is super low on HP. These Widow Mines have just not fired in forever. Finally, one big shot does land in the Zealots, but I actually think Maxpax could maybe stick around. This is where I think he wishes he had a Prism. Because imagine if he could just like apply more pressure at this point.
Yeah, Clem is going to, like you said, kind of have a little bit of time to sort of get that macro stage up, but he has also continuously still been sending out all these little medevacs and harassment squads to try and get tiny bits of damage, which is why he still has a little bit of that worker supply lead. So with 2-2 finishing up, I do wonder if he's going to be setting up any more harassment right now, or if he's really just going to take a step back and kind of chill out for a second.
When that army was that low on HP and Maxpax was actually still applying some pressure, and he was even forcing the bio units to run all the way towards the right side of the third orbital of Clem, I actually thought he was pretty close to ending it. And if he would have spent the money he had in the bank at that point, I really think he could have ended. Now the game has slowed down. Yeah, obviously you blink twice, Clem is maxed out. Clem knows what to do with a bit of extra time. And this army of Clem is just going to get stronger and stronger. And Maxpax, he is really going to need a good Purification Nova or two. Because just the gateway units, they are not going to cut it anymore against the army of Clem.
Ooh, this Zealot run by is going to be a bit problematic for Clem as well. There are very few defenses over here, especially for this many Zealots. Even the Ghost Academy is over here, so a few reinforcements are going to help try to deal with this. While Clem tries to move forward, it doesn't seem like he's able to get off some big EMPs just yet. Those Ghosts on the front lines looking for something, but Shield Battery Overcharge and the Disruption Novas, those are going to be very difficult to push into.
This is a Battery Overcharge. Clem is taking the entire fight in range of Battery Overcharge, but did a great job in sniping the Disruptor. But yeah, the other units, they just don't die. While 18 SCVs have gone down, the Ghost Academy might actually fall to these Zealots as well. Clem thinking that his army was powerful enough to win a fight in range of the green battery. Let me just tell you, Fear Dragon, it rarely is.
Only one time in recorded history, Kev.
Yeah, Skillers was there, and he let the world know that Overcharge does not win every game. It just wins a lot of them.
Yeah, but now we have a situation where Clem is going to be getting closer and closer to +3 weapons finishing up. He's not going to have quite the same upgrade advantage that he has had in some of the previous fights where it was like 2-2 versus just 1-1 or something. But there might be a small little window yet again soon before the income lacking from that fourth base is really going to start hitting his army.
Definitely a high-level game between these two. I think Clem obviously got a bit unlucky in the beginning with his mine drop against the Phoenix build that he didn't scout. He was behind. Has really turned it into something. But then every single time I start getting worried about where Maxpax is heading towards this game, I gotta say he does a really good job in finding value out of his Zealots. Because if you just max out on Phoenix, Zealots, and Colossus, and 20 Zealots run into a meat grinder, it's like, yeah, you're basically starting the fight like 25 supply down. It becomes really hard to win it. He's doing an amazing job in finding openings with these Zealots and making this a really annoying game for Clem.
It is really difficult as a Terran player when you're attacking across the map and 25 Zealots show up at one of your bases. That is definitely not an enjoyable feeling to kind of go up against. But speaking of which, we do have a kind of an awkward spot over here. He goes for the EMP on both his shield batteries, but also now the Nexus doesn't have enough energy to go for a recall at this base location. And Clem is also at least attacking a little bit on the right-hand base as well with even just 1 or 2 Marines. So he's just going to try and continue on forward.
Okay, I think he should have killed the Robo there. I think, yeah, exactly. Go back and kill the Robo. The Robo is expensive. We are going for a good old-fashioned base trade here as Maxpax is showing no signs of returning home. Clem is showing no signs of returning home. Clem obviously cannot recall. Zealots are trying to kill the planetary in the top left side, but Clem does a good job in repairing that. They are both getting on top of each other's production. There was a Dark Shrine being built, but Clem is going to gun that down in the bottom side of our screen. No cancel on that one. Well. Whose army do we like better, Fear Dragon?
That's a good question. I would love if Clem was able to at least deny any potential for like a recall eventually over here, because now that a lot of the production is lifted up over here, there's not a ton of value that Maxpax gets out of sticking around after he's sniped off, a few more of the remaining SCVs and some of the production that's been left over. And you gotta expect that eventually Maxpax is going to start thinking about that.
But his army is too big to recall, though. You don't really recall 107 supply. Like, how do you recall that?
True. I think the Colossus and the Disruptors will stack up really well, but I think you're right. The Stalkers and everything, it's hard to get the Zealots, etc. So Nexus in the bottom left-hand side goes down. I think that may have been a Dark Treader or a Pylon that was just going up right there. It does get canceled. There's only 2 Nexus left over now for Maxpax.
Yep, and he's about to lose one more. I don't think he's in any position to save this one either. Maxpax is still left a couple of Zealots behind. Clem could just land the Orbital again that he still has in his main. The armies are going to get dangerously close towards each other. The Viking count is at 13. Colossus count is at 4. 16 Stalkers, no Phoenixes. I gotta say, I think I like Clem's army a bit more. Even if he's down 10 army supply, I think I like it more, but obviously he needs to avoid those Purification Novas.
The Vikings are just going to go dive on in for one or two of the Colossus over there. Remember, if somehow Clem can ensure that Maxpax isn't able to get up proper mining anymore, because there are just floating buildings potential over here for Clem, you can almost guarantee that this will be a stalemate if he can just ensure the mining is no longer happening over here. So that base is so important for Maxpax to actually be able to defend.
Yeah, upgrades are still very relevant too here, of course. Maxpax only having +2 attack and +1 armor against +3 attack and +3 armor for Clem. It is safe to say that the Disruptors need to be the absolute MVPs here. And I do think that obviously Clem has a much better income at this point. So if I'm Maxpax, I really can't try to start forcing it, even if that ain't very pleasant, but he is doing it and I think it's the correct call. It really is all to the Disruptors, because without a good Nova or two, Maxpax's army is not good enough to win this game.
Yeah, a bit of a scary moment over here. Keep in mind also that Maxpax is very heavily supply blocked. Even if he starts up the gateways, even if he starts up a lot of his tech, it's still going to be a bit of time, even with his slow, especially with his slow mining, before he can actually start producing additional units. In the meanwhile, Clem is actually making more units as time goes on. Oh, Maxpax, he's so far out of position now. If Clem actually just dives in on that Nexus, he can even go for an EMP on the Nexus. He can prevent a recall.
Yeah, this Nexus is probably going to go down. There is still some money. Maxpax has already sent out a probe. It's nice that he's finally killing the depots in the main base. That's why Clem is supply block too. This base on the left side goes down. I know maybe it doesn't seem super relevant, but I wouldn't hate this one probe that he had out on the map. Oh, is that his last one? Oh, he loses one of his two left probes. Yeah, top left indeed. He should have tried to repower the Forge in his main, because +2 armor is 12 seconds away from finishing up. He's gonna die for this planetary. A couple of Marauders are gonna show up. We need to kill this planetary immediately. He's gonna lose a Colossus in return, and the other Colossus is taking so much damage from the missile turret. I don't think this is going all too hot for Maxpax.
Yeah, and I think after seeing that there's only one Colossus left over, yeah, Vikings just dive as far as they need to in order to get that. They're gonna actually end up landing as well to try and just combat against the Disruptors and the Stalkers. It already seems like Clem is getting some really nice trades. Oh, Disruptor shot barely doesn't go off. And this is the entire army of Maxpax. GG. Clem is going to be going for another one of these 1-1-1 openings. I only bring that up because there has been a funny return of the 3 racks in the recent times. But oh, Adept, very caught out of position over there, not realizing that the Marines are right in its face.
You have to be very careful with your first Phoenix here. It has happened more than once to me, where I just casually click my Phoenix to the other side of the map. I fly over 9 Marines, you panic, you click it back. Oh, the second Phoenix! Okay, it will live, but that still stinks though, because now Maxpax knows he's gonna need to defend. He does have a shield burner in his natural, and that's very good news for him. Because without that battery, even this amount of Marines becomes annoying to deal with.
Yeah, I like the second pylon, since that is going to be a potential target for later on. Phoenix lifting up one of the Marines does finally get the pickoff over there. I think in a dream world, Clem really wants to be able to bait out at least like a photon overcharge, or sorry, a battery overcharge or something, but it looks like there's going to be enough units over here that he won't be able to get a whole lot more done.
I wonder what the medevac is up to. It's going to take an awkward route via the top right side. I mean, so far, even though Maxpax did a good job at not losing units, he was forced to use 2 lifts on the Phoenix. And now Clem is trading out just a few Marines for all this Phoenix energy. It's more about the medevac drop. If the medevac drop can find like 8 or 9 probes, obviously then it's great for Clem. If he gets only 1 or 2, it becomes really bad. Is Maxpax paying attention? I don't think he is. Ay. A little bit late.
Yeah, I think he was just busy microing the Stalkers and the Phoenix, which are very action intensive. 7 workers, and remember, none of the Widow Mines have actually died just yet. Even the Phoenix lifts up the Widow Mine, but nothing to kill it yet.
He needs to use another lift for sure. I hope he's... okay, he's got energy. Yeah, this is still all very good for Clem. It's not just the 7 probes, it's the lost mining time. It's just the amount of chaos that Clem is forcing now makes it a little bit hard for Maxpax. Yeah, the low HP one as well. When it rains, it pours, Fear Dragon. Because if he just moves into the army of Clem, this Terran army is a little bit better than Maxpax's army at this point.
Yeah, I mean, hey, there are 9 Widow Mines out on the map. There is a decent chance for the Phoenix to be able to get something done, but most of the Widow Mines have actually already gone off now, which means that the Kamikaze solution is not going to work quite as well. There we see the shield battery overcharge taking its toll, I guess, on these Marines who are not able to make the most of their stim. A lot of Widow Mines getting picked off there.
Yeah, but so good though that he doesn't let that last mine fire when it's not necessary. Switching targets, buying some time. While this is happening, there is another mine drop happening in the main base. And Maxpax is paying attention, but that doesn't mean it won't hurt. It's still gonna hurt. The Marines are still there. That one Widow Mine is still not fired. And Maxpax will get a little bit of a cleanup in the end, but Clem is doing a phenomenal job picking up the Marines, unloading them, gunning down a Phoenix there as well. Clem is playing at an incredibly high level here in game 2. The mine count is high. The Phoenixes have a really hard time finding the right engagement. This is it. It's almost now or never for Maxpax. We need some friendly fire. I really think we do.
There's no Widow Mines of friendly fire over here. The Phoenix are able, in conjunction with the Zealots, to push back the Marines into the medevacs for a little bit. A few Marines going to be sacrificed for the greater good, as the Zealots do have a hard time cleaning them up when they're in those mineral patches. But majority of these Marines are still going to be able to get out of there with pretty much all of the medevacs still intact. And Clem is still getting ready to put some more pressure on with more Widow Mine harassment, just ensuring Maxpax cannot crawl back into this game.
You know how rare it is to see a 9-minute game where a high-level Protoss like Maxpax has built a grand total of 14 Phoenix so far and has killed 0 SCPs. And that's not because he doesn't want to. That's just because Clem is literally everywhere. And Clem is forcing Maxpax to react to everything that he's throwing at him. And Maxpax's Phoenixes just have no time of making it to the other side of the map and actually lift up some SCVs.
Very, very tough spot right now for Maxpax. He's going to try and get out one more Colossus. The Phoenix have got to do some serious work over here. Warps in a couple of sentries because I guess force fields might be one way to try and buy a little bit of time over here. But man, Clem is also just being extremely patient. He's saying, yep, lost some ghosts in that last fight. Let's wait for the next round of reinforcements. All right, we're good to go. Let's do this again.
Yep. Weapons ready. Let's dance. A beautiful EMP, and yes, guys, that does hurt to stay on the Phoenixes. They lose all their energy. Liberator shows up as well. Maxpax wants to go up to 4 bases, but Clem says, no, not in my left arm.
Yeah, now we're at a point where it is just Clem gradually choking Maxpax out, saying, yeah, if you can't get a 4th base, I will eventually just win over here. Shield battery overcharge. Yeah, Clem is okay. He can just back off and engage when the units are not in range of that because he doesn't have to force his way in. He just needs to continue denying a 4th.
And that's obviously right when +2 is going to finish up as well. Good job there by Maxpax. Apparently still having an observer nearby on the left side, cleaning up a couple of these mines. And that ops is a little MVP ops, but Clem has that upgrade advantage once more. He can land an EMP if he wants to. The Viking count is starting to get there too. You don't really want to have the Marines in the front. Marauders want to get on top of the Colossus. It somehow survives with literally 1 HP. I think every fiber in Maxpax's body wants to leave this game already, but he's like, oh, I still have a couple of Colossus. Maybe he takes a very bad fight near a battery overcharge, and that is my way back into this game. But I think our Danish Protoss knows that the writing is on the wall for this one. Clem is a little too rich. Clem is a little too much in his face. The Colossi are super low on HP. One of them does fall. The second one is going to fall as well. And the rest of the army of Maxpax is simply not good enough. It will be Clem who ends out on top in Group B with a 6-1 record, only being stopped by Goblin. The rest of this group